The Laundry is proudly produced by Strise, the AML automation cloud.
We have this incredible, powerful technology, and the first thing your human mind goes to, like, I used OpenAI's operator to book me an Airbnb. Go to Airbnb and book it yourself. It's super simple. There's no point of using this great technology to perform these rudimentary tasks.
Welcome to The Laundry, the podcast connecting AML, compliance, and financial crime to the real world. Who knew a pizza order could blow up the internet? In January, tech CEO Jess Pollack tagged an AI agent in a social media post saying, "I want some pizza." This was enough for an AI agent to place a $50 pizza order in his name, coordinating the transaction through another fully automated AI agent. While a fast food robot butler is definitely a fun image, the potential of AI agents currently has many industries chatting about their potential, including ours. I'm your host, Marit, CEO of Strise, and in this episode, we are asking, why is everyone talking about AI agents? We'll be discussing what can we do with AI agents today, what might be possible in the next few months, and the long-term consequences on the compliance, AML, and financial crime industry. To dive into this big topic, I'm here with my Laundry co-host, Fredrik Riiser, Head of Strategy and Business Development, and Robin Lycka, Solutions Architect at Strise. Hey guys, glad to have both of you join me for an episode. What do you hope the Laundry listeners will take away from this episode?
Well, I hope first and foremost they will feel a bit informed in terms of what is happening at the moment. Obviously, this is in its infancy in terms of like what we can do on a day-to-day basis using AI agents. But I think they will leave listening this episode quite excited about the opportunities and what's ahead.
Excited, okay?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're able to place the view beyond the pizza orders. It's not the first time a pizza order made the internet blow up. Like, remember the guy that paid 2 Bitcoins for a pizza back in 2015?
Yeah.
So what is it with people and pizzas anyway?
True. But let's start with looking at what is possible with AI agents today. So, Robin, if you were explaining this technology in its most basic terms, what is an AI agent?
An AI agent is a software program that interacts with its environment. Kind of the interesting aspect is that it's not only predetermined what the goals are, it kind of decides for itself what the tasks need to be. So the operator can interact with a normal website. And that's the big difference now that we have OpenAI's operators as opposed to just ChatGPT.
So who are the big players in this space already?
There's a few that's come up recently. So OpenAI, they launched Operator, which a lot of people have gotten access to.
Good morning. We've got something exciting for you today. We're going to launch our first agent. AI agents are AI systems that can do work for you independently. You give them a task and they go off and do it. We think this is going to be a big trend in AI and really impact the work people can do, how productive they can be, how creative they can be, what they can accomplish. We're starting today with Operator. Operator is a system that can use a web browser, in this case, a web browser in the cloud, to accomplish tasks that you give it. It's really quite cool what it can do.
It's not available in the EU, but you can access it through VPN and so forth. And then we have DeepSeek coming out of China, which is competing as well on this space. But basically, most of the big technology companies are launching some form of AI agents. You have DeepMind from Google, and there's a few different initiatives. Salesforce, I can't remember the name, but that's a big one that's been launched recently as well. So it seems to be coming a lot of them at the moment.
And talking about Operator, it from OpenAI made the big splash, and we have obviously tested it. We VPN through to the US and got to test this new technology. So let's discuss some of the fun things we tried out with this. So obviously, the first thing, we are the Laundry, we're interested in financial crime. We wanted to test it if it could do financial crime for us. But that was actually incredibly hard to make it do because OpenAI has really stepped up their game and blocked a lot of things. But we actually got it to open Telegram search Telegram and find groups where you could engage in financial crime. And we did get it to find a group where they sold access to bank accounts in high street banks in the UK. So the next thing I want to do is also to get it to contact the people posting it and actually ask how much is it for this access. So that became incredibly easy, but that's one of the fun things I tried at least.
Yeah, I think in terms of the AI AML aspect and utilizing agents for that, I've just dabbled around in terms of like what can you set it to do to like get information from the internet to do a KYC review, and that's been not fast. Like I think we'll dive into that a bit later in the episode. But like speed isn't one of its main drive. Like that's not good enough at the moment. However, like it was actually quite good, the results that it at the end of the task came up with. Now, in terms of a fun thing though, I did set it to book me a hairdresser appointment, but then I remember I just cut my hair, so I had to tell it to book it next month. But this was just like 2 days ago, so the 29th of January. So it booked it for like the 3rd of February. So it didn't reason enough to like book it a month from now. It just like next month, which is correct, like February. But yeah.
Did you make it to do anything fun, Robin?
I didn't get a haircut, obviously. No, I think like it's so funny how we have this incredible, powerful technology, and the first thing like your human mind goes to is like, I'm gonna try if I can get it to perform a simple task for me that I can just do as easily myself. Like all of the videos that are out on YouTube now, like how to create shopping lists with OpenAI's operator, or I used OpenAI's operator to book me an Airbnb. Go to Airbnb and book it yourself. It's super simple. There's no point of using this great technology to perform these rudimentary tasks. But rant over.
But it's hard to know what the use cases are in the beginning of these types of technologies. You just go to whatever you usually do yourself. Like I also tried, can you find me the cheapest round trip plane tickets within February to this destination? Like you just think of the things you normally do yourself. But it takes a little while for the really valuable use cases be apparent. But yeah, what did you try?
I tried the most annoying thing that I've done at work lately, which is to go to the German company's house register and try and fetch a document, which is like, I actually recorded, it's like a 13-click process where you search for the company and then you have to click this thing and there's another click and another click, and it ends up with like a shopping cart, which is a checkout to fetch the document, and you have to put in your email address. So I prompted it to actually use my email address to complete that process. And it surprisingly actually works to perform those kind of multiple step operations. And that's kind of where I see that there are certain use cases where you perform multiple steps in a task and you can actually get it to complete quite complex operations on regular websites.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all know that compliance, KYB, KYC, AML, it requires a lot of clicks. So let's get back to how we see it will be adopted by the compliance industry. But back to my point, I tried to make it do crime. Like, obviously, we don't do financial crime, so it's kind of hard to think about the use cases. And it was surprisingly hard because it is really blocked now. But do you think this has been adopted by criminals yet? And what are some of the use cases you might think it has already been used for?
For the criminals?
Yeah, like have they been able to bypass the safeguards put in place and these kinds of things?
I think like even the criminals have it's a multi-layered process that they have to go through as well. So number one, yes, I definitely think this has been adopted by the criminals already. And I would assume most of the tasks they've stated to do is the stuff that's just mundane, repetitive, and takes a lot of time, but is legal. And then for them to utilize their expertise and what they know in terms of basically doing the more complex criminal tasks themselves, they have more time to do that already now.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting aspects where we could see a potential influx of misuse is interacting as if you were a human, because it can replicate a lot better than just general robotic process automation. It can replicate human interactions, like in the way it responds to messages. I saw one guy out of the US that actually had a pretty neat business idea where people give away their pianos for free. It's quite common if you go to like any kind of local listings page, there's always a bunch of pianos being given away for free because they're difficult to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And he just created a prompt where he got an operator to go to Facebook Marketplace, find pianos for free within a certain radius, and text them to say, I will pick up your piano for $200. So, like, you could automate that entire process of the outreach. Now, I actually tried this on our local fin.no, and I said, find the latest iPhone model, sort it by price, low, high, and send messages offering to buy it for half price. So you can actually automate that messaging where you can negotiate prices and you don't even have to spend time on that interaction. So there are fun kind of, it's a bit novelty, but still there's actually, I don't know what the end result will be, but you can do quite cool things like that, replicating human interaction stuff.
Did anyone offer to sell it at half price?
No.
But you can imagine that, of course, people get their time back doing a lot of repetitive stuff, or new possibilities open, and etc. But we are a podcast about compliance, financial crime, AML, so we need to imagine what this technology will do to our industry. And this is a fast-moving space, and it does feel like we are in a very disruptive time. So one of the things that I tried with Operator as well is just ask it to do a KYB review of the Ritz Hotel in London. And it is surprisingly good. It goes into the corporate registries, it goes to open sanctions, it searches for PEPs and sanctions, it fetches ownership, it does adverse media screening, all these things. And while it is slow, it takes over 10 minutes to perform this task, it is infinitely scalable. And it is really good at reasoning. So you can also be able to document the reason for why it does, which is important in compliance, right? But I felt like, okay, KYB, KYC, it will be changed forever. But how do you see the expectations of due diligence impacted by AI agents? How do you think this will transform the space?
Well, it depends if you look at this short term, medium term, or long term, because I think just in terms of like, in the EU, we have the AI Act as an example. AI agents isn't mentioned in the AI Act. That's how quickly this space is moving now. Like, it's just passed in 2023. It's not really adopted by any EU nations just yet. And this new technology, which is groundbreaking and disruptive, like you say, isn't even mentioned. Not that I've seen, at least. So I think that speaks to the level as to how fast this space is moving. And I don't think we can be sure of how quickly this will be adopted. But I don't think there's many years into the future where you have chief compliance assistants, which is just agents, and humans and the MLROs and so forth will move into having more of a governance function that looks into how are all the agents doing on a day-to-day basis and so forth. In terms of just like very short term, it's very limited now. It's not scalable due to its time and the processing power and the GPU and so forth.
Yeah, and it also keeps losing its context a bit. Like, in one of the KYB reviews that I did, it kind of finds a PEP, but then later it forgets that it found it, and kind of, it forgets a little bit things like this.
Absolutely, it goes in, and then it goes into loops, right? Because we have so much intrinsic knowledge. We know sort of where do we usually find this type of information. It's basically very often due to the fact that it's still currently at least siloed. It's not connected to a network-based intelligence system. It will have to start from scratch, meaning like if it will find some information about an entity, it most likely will have to go through a loop researching 20 pages, whereas you as a person that's done this in the past, you'd know exactly what page you'd usually would go to. Obviously, you can prompt that to go to that specific page. But if you want to go more outcome-based rather than income-based, especially in the way that you're prompting, then I think it's not scalable now. But one thing we do know about technology, just to bring that point into this as well, is just like anything that can go quicker and become better will eventually become quicker and better over time. So
I think like one aspect of this that I've been thinking about is that we might see a new sort of design approach. Whereas if you think back to when we got really into web design for devices, responsive web design kind of as a idea or a concept, I think we'll see that registries and websites will be sort of adapted to operator or tailored to AI. And that means that you could strip away the whole design of the website and focus purely on functionality and availability, because the operator doesn't need design. And it actually, in fact, reads pixels on a website. So a less complex website is faster to use for the operator. I think that might be one interesting aspect, like a new genre of web design created for AI.
So if there's anyone listening who are an AML, KYB worker, they sit and do due diligence, they do the onboardings, they do click around, gather information, doing all these kinds of things, and now suddenly you see an AI being able to kind of do the same. What would you say to them? Do you think this technology will be adopted really fast by financial institutions? And how will this impact the workforce in compliance?
Yeah, it depends on where you're situated. There's plenty of strict regulations, especially in the EU, which means we're probably slower to adopt and utilize this type of technology compared to the likes of China and the States. However, like for the individual, I definitely try to find ways as to how I could use this in my day-to-day work. One thing that really surprised me when testing this out was that what I thought it would be really good at was actually not as good. Meanwhile, what I would think like the humans would be really good at to supplement what the agent would do was actually what it was really good at. So an example would be, quote unquote, finding the mundane sort of basic information about a company or a person and setting up the initial KYC review of a normal type of profile. Took way too long doing that through operator, at least for now. However, setting it to fetch information across the entire internet to enhance due diligence report as an example, that was super efficient, because then I could just set it to do that. I could go away, do something else, come back, and then all of a sudden I have this really like deep dive type of information found from browsing all around the internet by the AI agent to supplement sort of my basic report.
Yeah, so I think it's probably going to be difficult for compliance workers to adopt this quickly, simply because, regulatory requirements and adopting technology in general, explainability and human oversight, etc. But I think it's extremely important to be on top of what this can actually do and start understanding and testing to figure out at which point can we actually start utilizing this to, for instance, perform repetitive, mundane tasks, checking registries, and especially maybe for the small mediums, because they could actually utilize this.
Because the big, very visible elephant in the room is, of course, the regulators, because if they are really against this type of technology, and it will be, of course, very hard to adapt. What do you think? Do you think the regulators, FCA, the Norwegian Finanstilsynet, have they spent this week trying out operator and have formed an opinion, or what do you guys think they are thinking right now?
Yeah, I probably have individual workers that is equally interested in technology, such like we are, that's been testing this out and forming an opinion. Whether or not that will be a public stated opinion and framework and strategy in the short term, that's obviously hard to say. But I really hope and encourage everyone, like from all aspects of society now, to spend time in learning, because this is disruptive. I just want to point out how disruptive this could be, because if we as a society don't adopt, and we see other nations, again, China, US, adopting this type of technology, like the geopolitical problems that this might actually end up causing is immense. Like, number one, obviously you have a competitive advantage with the banking systems in other countries because compliance is not time efficient at the moment. It's a costly problem and so forth. If that is automated and AI agents and so forth is performing that, that would be a major competitive advantage for those economies. Secondly, if we are not able to fight financial crime using these type of technologies in the near future, who knows? Europe as a whole might become the safe haven for criminals because we have the worst systems in the world to defend our financial freedom or the financial ecosystem.
Yeah, or we just all drown in spam calls and spam attempts, and we are just giving up on trust and transparency as a whole. Our overall goal at Strise? Eradicate financial crime. To achieve this, we know we have to build a network of expert partners to put together the ultimate package for compliance and AML teams globally. Let's hear what Plenitude, the leading independent consultancy in financial crime compliance, and one of our partners has to say.
The single biggest issue that are facing our clients in regulated firms at the moment is the increasing cost of compliance. Some of the pain points that clients are trying to address is that requirement to automate both AML and KYC controls. We've been working with Strise initially on a proof of concept exercise to test their solutions in the UK marketplace. But now we've formalised that partnership and we're now in a position to obviously offer to our clients Strise solutions alongside advisory and implementation support as part of deployment of those solutions. One of the things that we really like about Strise and their solutions is it does enable our clients to realise the benefits of AI relatively quickly, and the implementation timelines are relatively short compared to other solutions.
Want to work together? Visit strise.ai and click Become a Partner to book a meeting. How do you think the implementation of this will be? Will it be so that you can just unleash AI agents on top of all kinds of old infrastructure within the banks and that solves all of the big IT problems? How will this be deployed, you think? If you were to look into the glass ball.
Crystal ball?
Crystal ball. Yeah. Crystal ball.
Well, first of all, I don't think it will be anytime soon. I'm of the opinion that this is not a revolution. I see it more as currently it's a bit of a novelty item, but long term, once you get past the scalability and sort of the intrinsic issues, and when websites are actually adopted to conform with this technology, then yes, we'll probably see layers on top of existing systems, etc. But robotic process automation isn't anything new. This is a way of doing RPA on top of an existing website. So I don't foresee this becoming like an intrinsic part of a bank's ecosystem anytime soon.
What is anytime soon? I think within the next 10 years, I think it will be. I think it will go really, really quickly. And in terms of revolution, I agree, it's just a novelty item due to its sort of limitations at the moment. However, if we take away sort of the processing GPU and time that it takes to do certain tasks, which I'm of the opinion of that with the competitive environment, with these big nations battling it out, we will see exponential results in terms of how quickly the standards will increase for this. And then I think the RPA processes that's set up today, they are so rule-based and very much input-based. And I think that's the big shift in terms of how these AI agents will be able to reason based on the certain outcome that you've prompted, to be able to basically optimize also the process. And hypothetically, if an RPA process doesn't work anymore, it will be able to by itself autonomously figure out the next steps as to make it work or make it work better in the future.
Yeah, I mean, now it can reason. It can start helping out with the reason about, is this a PEP? Is this a sanctioned entity? It can go in that direction instead of, as you say, just the rule-based RPA. But I would actually love it if someone who works in a bank in like the legal procurement department listens who could help us give some insights into how they're thinking about buying these things, because I'm sure there's a lot of regulatory hurdles, especially in the EU, and maybe that could give us a more perspective what is anytime soon. So if someone is listening and has a lot of insights into this, please do DM me. But we are coming to the end of the episode, but we're not going to leave without some quick fire questions. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
So AI agents, is this hype or revolution?
Revolution.
Hype.
What's a very boring thing that AI agents could solve which could make a difference in the AML and compliance space?
Go to the German company's registry and fetch documents.
What is the most spicy thing you could imagine using an AI agent for?
Right now, I think infiltrating a criminal network and gathering insights and feeding that back to the other agents, MI6 style.
Ooh, good one. Robin?
Yeah, I think messaging and understanding modus operandi by infiltrating Telegram groups, etc., gathering data and actually building future modus, that would be a cool use case.
Or scam all the scammers. Just flood them with all kinds of... Go into their Telegram groups, infiltrate them, and just like try to scam them back.
Plot twist.
And finally, should everyone be talking about AI agents?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone should.
Everyone.
Absolutely everyone.
Sometimes everyone. 60% of the time, all of the time.
That brings this spin of the laundry to an end. Fredrik and Robin, thank you so much for joining me. This will not be the final time we discuss AI agents on the show. This is our first episode. We will definitely get back to this topic. But in the meantime, where can people find and connect with you?
My LinkedIn page or email at fredrik@strise.ai.
Yeah, robin@strise.ai or my LinkedIn.
Money makes the world go round.
And thanks to everyone who was listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, check out the back catalog of more than 100 episodes. Maybe you can get an AI agent to go through it and select the episodes that's the best fit for you. And follow The Laundry on your podcast platform of choice. We would love for you to share the podcast on your social media channels. Maybe an AI agent could automate this for you as well. Tell your colleagues about it, maybe not that. And give us a 5-star rating. It really helps people to find us. What subjects do you think we should be talking about? Comment on the Strise LinkedIn page, my LinkedIn page, or email laundry@strise.ai. Your host for this episode was me, Marit. Our producer was Matthew. Our editor was Dominic. And our engineer was Nicholas. The Laundry is proudly produced by Strise, the AML automation cloud. Visit strise.ai for more information. See you next time.
Your money make a world go round.
Welcome to the laundry. We got fun and games. Welcome to the laundry.
Do the AML.
The Laundry is proudly produced by Strise, the AML automation cloud.